and welcome to the Utini Update, your one-stop shop for everything going on in Star Wars. My name's Eric, and today we have our first look at the Pirates of Skeleton Crew. Cal Kestis' journey is coming to an end, and we have a pair of fantastic book releases. One might even surprise you. So go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't, and let's jump into it. Now, before we get going with the news, we want to say happy Bisexual Visibility Day. Yesterday, we celebrated over at Utini by highlighting some of our favorite bi characters from a galaxy far, far away, like Ray Sloan, Ty York, Erica Quell, and more. And if you missed it, be sure to check out the link in the description down below and keep celebrating with us as we highlight all of the amazing Latino Star Wars creators during Hispanic Heritage Month, which will be going on for the next couple weeks. It's a wonderful time of year to celebrate the amazing diversity of voices that we have in Star Wars, and it's only going to get better and better. Last week, we got our first look at a bunch of new characters for the upcoming show, Skeleton Crew. Thanks to Entertainment Weekly, we got this awesome shot of a group of pirates that will be making trouble for our main cast come December, including Vane, a Nikto pirate who started off in The Mandalorian, as well as new additions like Gunter, who's part cyborg, Brutus, a Shistavinin, a Grand named Pax, and finally, a human named Shalette. Now, if Gunter looks a bit familiar, that's because he's played by Jaleel White, who, among other things, is best known for playing Steve Urkel in Family Matters. Now, will the creators be able to stop themselves from letting the cyborg utter White's famous catchphrase? Only time will tell. In addition to the first images of these pirates, we also got a bit of insight from show creators John Watts and Christopher Ford. The showrunners acknowledge the benefits that the time of Skeleton Crew affords them with regards to their villains, with Ford saying, with the era we're in, we're kind of getting to play with that lawless thing. The Empire is gone, and so we're playing with a part of the galaxy that has a resurgence of piracy. Watts also keyed us into another piece of inspiration for the show from a rather unlikely source, Monkey Island. That's right, the adventure game from the 90s evidently plays a big part in the tone of the show, with Watts hoping that the feel of the new pirate gang lands somewhere between old school Star Wars and LucasArts classic. Finally, the article gave us a new look at Jude Law's Jode Nanawood in his full glory, with the team admitting that they wanted to create a new type of Jedi with Law, even though Watts was quick to confirm that Dave Filoni himself has been acting as their goalkeeper to keep them in bounds when it comes to what's really possible in the Star Wars galaxy. Be sure to check out our coverage of the full Skeleton Crew reveal over on our site. Links, as always, are in the description down below. Now, last week, we also received news about one of the best ongoing stories in Star Wars over the last few years, the Jedi series of games that have starred Cal Kestis and BD-1. Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor have been marvelous successes, and thanks to an EA presentation for the company's Investor Relations Day, we found out just how much success they've had. According to Laura O'Neill, president of EA Entertainment and Technology, the games have been played by over 40 million players and have generated over $5 billion. And while that number is impressive in any galaxy, Cal's story isn't over, but it does sound like it's getting there. Miel went on to further confirm that Respawn, the company behind the first two games, is, quote, working hard to bring the final chapter of this thrilling story to players. Now, for lifelong Star Wars fans, this likely isn't a surprise. Trilogies have been an integral part of Star Wars since the beginning, but as the TV shows and films have become a bit less concrete over the last few years, this confirmation of finality is oddly refreshing. The developers are clearly going into this game knowing it will be Cal's final entry, so they can put all of their storytelling ideas and tricks into one last game. This does, however, beg the question on everyone's mind. Does Cal survive this final adventure? Or does the Empire finally catch up to him and end his story as the credits roll? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But as we wait on the final journey of Cal Kestis, we still have plenty of Star Wars stories being released, including one of our most anticipated, which released today. Tears of the Nameless by George Mann is the next book in the High Republic's third phase, and is one of the final young adult entries in the initiative. Last week, we talked about the exclusive excerpt our friends over at Collider published alongside an interview with Mann, and today, you can finally get your hands on the full book yourself. It's been over a year since the fall of Starlight Beacon Space Station, and both heroes and villains alike must face the consequences of their decisions. When Jedi Knight Reeth and Padawan Amadeo Azazo are sent on a mission to test their theories about the Nameless, they'll come face to face with the terrifying creatures once thought to be myth and learn the true meaning of fear. Fear that fallen Jedi Aslan Rel advised them to embrace if they have any hope of defeating the monsters. If you haven't caught up with the High Republic stories thus far, this won't exactly be beginner-friendly, with stories like Mann's Eye of Darkness being required at bare minimum. But after almost 3 full years of storytelling, the stakes of the Jedi's conflict with the Nameless appear to be coming to a head, with Tears of the Nameless promising to combine storytelling elements from all 3 phases we've experienced so far. But surprisingly, this isn't the only new Star Wars story you can experience this week. Last Friday, we all received quite the surprise when Padawan's Pride, a brand new audio original by Brian Q. Miller, was dropped on Audible. This story came out of absolutely nowhere and features Obi-Wan and Anakin in a brand new adventure that takes place between The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, with the summary reading: Jedi Knight Obi-Wan Kenobi and his Padawan Anakin Skywalker star in this thrilling galactic adventure set 3 years after the events of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. When a Republic spy goes missing on the moons of Varl, the Jedi Council asks Obi-Wan and Anakin to infiltrate an underground pod racing circuit run by a crime boss believed to be holding the spy prisoner. With Anakin posing as a hotshot racer and Obi-Wan as his attendant, tensions between the two threaten to run even higher than usual. But when Obi-Wan is forced to leave Varl, Anakin is on his own as he faces a series of increasingly treacherous races that will determine his fate and that of the spy. Master and apprentice must use all their Jedi skills in this action-packed tale of cutthroat competition, deadly deception, and ultimately, what it means to be a Padawan. If you've been around Utini for a bit, you know that Charles of the Utini Show has been begging for a pod racing story for years. We just so happened to get one dropped in our laps on a Friday morning out of nowhere. The story is about 4 hours long in total and can be accessed for free for any Audible Premium subscriber. And hey, if you're in need of a free trial to give the story a go, we have a link for that in the description down below. And there we have it for this week. Brand new info from Skeleton Crew, a potential end for Cal Kestis, a new release we've been waiting for, and a surprise one we didn't even know we needed. Yet another fantastic week of phenomenal Star Wars adventures. We'll see you on Thursday's Utini Show to delve even deeper into everything we discussed today. But until then, may the Force be with you.